It is episode 5 of our PodCATS Summer Signing Series. We're joined from Yankee Land by Yankees fan. He's sporting the pinstripes, very active at the trade deadline. So he's got to be excited about the next couple months of Yankee baseball. But I know you, Mike Mercurio, are much more excited to be back here at Hitachi Energy Arena come the middle of October. We are all super excited to have you back. So before we dive into the deep stuff, tell us how you're feeling about coming back here for year 2 with the Bobcats.
Well, what an intro. Yeah, thanks for having me, Brett. No, I'm feeling great, honestly. Super excited. It's been a good off season, but just really can't wait to get back down there.
Absolutely. We can't wait to have you. As we said, before we went on, you came over mid-season in the trade and made an immediate impact. And, like we talked about with Brandon after his trade, that the fan base really seemed to gravitate towards your play style and what you're able to do out there on the ice, the skill, the speed, everything that you provide and the impact that you made. Tell us what was kind of going through your head, what the conversations were like going into the trade.
Yeah, honestly, it was a bit of a whirlwind. I really didn't know what to think. I was pretty out of it, and after a couple conversations with Zemi, and I just kind of thought more about it and decided, let's give it a shot, and it was a great decision. Ended up paying off. So
it paid off big time, and we had talked about it when we had you on the coaches show during the regular season. The experience that you were able to bring over from Watertown, I think made a big difference. And talk about what your mindset was coming into what was a younger team, and how you were able to kind of take over that leadership role to take this club into the playoff run.
Yeah, it's always weird kind of coming to a new team, but we have such a great group of guys that welcomed me in, and kind of just let you be yourself. And I was brought in kind of with the understanding, Zemi kind of told me I'm in a leadership role, and I just tried to be myself, and just and it was pretty easy with that group of guys. So
that's something that our previous guests have talked a lot about, is how much fun that group had playing together, and how much they wish the run would have lasted a lot longer. But talk about, we know the guys that are coming back, and we've seen some of the roster moves that have been made for the new guys that are coming into the fold, but kind of take us into the room a little bit and shed some light on how much fun this core group had playing together last year.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable, honestly. Like, it was waking up to go to the rink every day and see those guys was unreal. It was and then just going on that run, like I said, it was just not something that I've necessarily been a part of all that much. Like, a few memorable times, and fortunately one before, but man, like, it was. I didn't know what to expect coming down, so it was really a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, as you said, you've won a championship in Watertown. You were on that team with Greg Hussey back in 2022. So, of course, what it takes, and you guys were on a big time hot streak going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, you ran into a buzzsaw in Carolina, but I think the experience that the younger guys were able to gain, and the more experience that the veteran guys like you were able to get, I think is going to pay off tenfold coming into this season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it only made us better. Only made everyone who's a part of it stronger. So,
definitely. And as we said, you ran into a buzzsaw in Carolina. They end up in their third consecutive final, but and you'd probably heard about it coming in. what the rivalry was like with them, and you'd experienced something similar with the proximity between Watertown and Binghamton, but the seismic shift in the rivalry, and then going into the playoffs. Talk about the statement that this team was able to make to everyone around the league that this was no longer a pushover situation.
Yeah, I kind of had been watching it, from afar, and then I jumped right into the fire getting down here. First 2 games were against Carolina, and it's just like you said, it's a great rivalry, and it's not such a one-sided rivalry as it might have been the first year. So it's just really cool to be a part of.
It is, and we talked to Carson and Danny about it, and they're friends with some of the Carolina guys off the ice, and the one thing that a lot of the Carolina guys said afterwards was, "Man, we really did not want to play you guys." And I think that's a feather in the cap when a team that's been in the finals 3 years in a row gives that kind of compliment that, man, you guys are really difficult to play against. That's a feather in the cap to build on and make yourselves even more difficult an opponent this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We prided ourselves on, and still pride ourselves on, being a hardworking, hard to play against team. And I think that showed. I felt there was a lot of games last year where we really, really brought that to the table, and when we did, we were hard to beat. So.
And you've been around this league and around hockey long enough to realize, when there's something special brewing in a room. And I've not seen as much hockey, but I've seen enough to know that the core group that's here, you included, that this is a championship caliber roster. And there were flashes of brilliance last year. The streak busters, as you guys became known. You broke Carolina's 11-game win streak. You broke Athens' win streak. You were the first team to shut them out. You broke Binghamton's 18-game win streak. That probably was the best feeling of the 3. But aside from the playoff run, talk about what you guys were able to prove as a whole to the league last year that served notice of contention this season.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, that I feel like that Binghamton weekend was a big one. That was, when I had first came back as well. And, it was just, I felt that whole weekend was just a couple statements that were made to let everybody know, this is the Blue Ridge Bobcats, and this is how we play, and, it is what it is. We're, before that, like you mentioned, it's a process building that team, but building us, and Zemi's done a great job, as all the boys, leadership group, Danny, but it's just something I can't stress enough. It's just really fun to be a part of.
And that was probably the most fun weekend of games that I was able to call. As exciting as Saturday was, and then Sunday stuff happened, but we'll leave it at that. But oh my! But yeah, I mean, I think that was a real turning point for you guys going forward into the stretch run of the season towards the end of March. There, to the Friday game was a wash. We'll call it that. Saturday, you guys made it a point that you were not going to let, despite their stature as the defending champions, let them come in and push you around and feel like they were going to have their way. And the big point that I heard Zemi make after the weekend was over was they might have taken 2 or 3 and won the battle, but they didn't win the war. We stood up to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's probably safe to say. And I think we even went a little bit further past standing up to him on Sunday. Started that third period, but yeah, no, in the rest of the third period, I guess Dale's too at the end there, but yeah, it was just no, like it's like I said, the culture that's been built, from top to bottom, from the the guys in the room to the fans, to the staff. It's something really special to be a part of, and yeah, can't can't talk about it enough, honestly.
Yeah, I mean the excitement just from all the players that I've talked to, you included, and the excitement from the fans. I mean, down the stretch last year, our biggest crowds ever. And Danny touched on this in the first episode. When he came to visit, it was probably 60-40 Carolina fans.
Yeah.
Play Carolina in the playoffs, it's 80-20 Blue Ridge fans. And for you guys to see an entire section of blue and yellow make the trip down there to Winston-Salem, I think that speaks to what you guys have done such a great job of creating, is a lovable brand of hockey that folks in this area can really get behind.
Yeah, no, and it's something to truly be grateful for. It's something very special, and we felt that love and support all over town. I don't know if Rel's talked about this, but we'd be walking around certain times. You're getting recognized everywhere. It's like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's that's something I'm not necessarily used to by any means. So just pretty special, and just really just great people that you always want to obviously you always want to go out there and win no matter what, for a multitude of reasons, but it just with the support behind you in that building, it's unbelievable.
And going into this year, you look at the capacity of the arena, the population of Wytheville is a little over 8,000. You could fit nearly half the population of the town of Wytheville in this arena, but it's not just Wytheville. It's fans that are coming from just below the state line, in between Winston and Wytheville, that we're kind of converting. That might have been half and half of picking who to root for. We're pulling them over to our side. We're getting folks from Roanoke, from Salem, etc. It's terrific to see, and for you guys, I'm sure it gets you guys jazzed, when you come out and you see the barn as packed as it was down the stretch, and it just makes you guys want to work even harder.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's pretty crazy, and for me, I experienced my first taste of Wytheville was playing there on the road with Watertown, and we had the building was completely different, obviously, with the bleachers and all that. But I saw the potential even then, and you know what I mean. I said it then, and I remember hearing the rumors of what it was going to turn into, and yeah, it blew my mind once that it came to fruition. So it's it's pretty amazing. It's a great place to play.
Let's focus on you for a second. What have you been up to this summer, training wise, life wise, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I've been training a good amount. Been working a lot with kids this summer. Doing some player development, some advising, mentorship stuff along the lines of that. So that's been pretty fun, being able to focus on that a lot. And yeah, like you said, working out, skating, training, doing all that good stuff. But yeah, nothing too new. Same old stuff.
We know you. You're a rink rat. You're a grinder. If there's ice, it doesn't matter if it's 105 degrees outside. You're probably going to find a way to get on it.
Oh yeah. I'll definitely get out there when I can. No doubt.
But yeah, let's. Earlier we touched on your play style a little bit, so let's expand upon that a touch here. You're a guy that plays with a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, and that with your speed and your skill and the way you're able to use your physicality with your size, you just bring such a unique mix that's really, really difficult for other teams to be able to defend. So kind of walk us through what your mindset is as a player, as you progress, coming into this second season in Blue Ridge.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, even coming in last year, I was battling some injuries and stuff like that. So, now with all that kind of being settled, I'm pretty happy to just be like feeling healthy coming into a season. Haven't really felt that way in the last couple, to be honest with you. So it's that's a great feeling. So yeah, just ready to go in and come in and be myself, do what I can, and be a good teammate and work as hard as I can.
Yeah, like we said, the passion and the intensity that you play with, I think, is what a lot of our fans kind of gravitated towards, and just the energy that you bring, not just for game night, but day in, day out. You talked about how excited you are to come to the rink every day. And something that Danny touched on was you guys want to put on a good show for the fans and win in a lot of different ways. Danny's wording was, well, I don't want to win and play boring hockey. I
Right.
want to win and have fun doing it. And I think that's the biggest thing that you guys were able to prove last year and can take into this year is you all bring such a unique mix of styles playing wise to the table individually that you throw it into a pot and it's this really, really almost perfect mix. And you're able to win games in a variety of different ways. We saw high scoring wins. We saw 1-0 wins. Talk about how the culture in the room translates to being able to kind of hone in on those details to be able to win games in a variety of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back to a group of guys that got along and really pushed each other in practice, pushed each other day in day out, and was a legit family, right? So it's I think that plays a big factor, and then like you said, being excited to go to the rink every day with those guys, like that passion, it shows. So it's just like it comes back to that culture. And I think it really just once that all gets thrown in together, it's it's a pretty cool thing to see.
It is. It's a special thing to be a part of. So as you look at the roster that's still being built, there's still pieces of the puzzle being added, but we've got you coming back, Danny, Carson, Daniel. So we've got all the captains leadership group coming back, another veteran leader like you coming back, Rels. And then you look at a lot of the new guys that have been added. There's a lot of potential and versatility. So, what have your conversations been like with Zemi and then the other members of the staff and some of the other guys, and just take us into the excitement level that everybody has?
Yeah, no, it's excitement's definitely high. I think everybody, like I said, is really chomping at the bit to get back there and get to work. But we know we obviously have a lot left to prove. A lot of unfinished business, and yeah, I mean, truthfully, like Zemi, he's fired up. He's ready to go right now. So that our conversations are good. We both have have a passion for the game, and just like I said, I think that whole group that we have coming back kind of has that similar passion, and so it's it's great.
It is. And, one of the bigger additions is someone that you have some familiarity with, a guy like Kyle Heitzner. What's the key going to be for bringing in a guy like him that plays such a unique style of his own?
Yeah, Heitzy, it's going to be awesome to see. I think the fans are going to absolutely love him from day one. Once they see him off the ice, on the ice, and yeah, his style definitely unique. He's gonna score a lot of goals, and he's gonna bring that toughness. Shift in, shift out, and the league knows it, and other teams know it. And he's one of the best offensive players in this league. One of my best buddies. So it's pretty exciting to see him. The fact that we're going to be back playing together again.
And then the thing I love so much about this sport, he and Danny faced off at center ice and threw down in Monroe. And 3.5 months later, now they're teammates and best friends. That's just crazy how that works out, right?
Oh my God, yeah. No, it's awesome, and it's pretty funny. Two guys, two very tough guys with great senses of humor. So it's it's pretty funny to see. And that was a good tilt too. Like they were. I mean, anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm sure everybody watching this has probably seen it. But holy cow!
That was a heck of a tilt. It wasn't my favorite of the year, though. I think my favorite was, I think it was before you arrived, but Carson against his former team, taking down a guy that he was a teammate with 8 months ago and kind of staring over top of him like, yeah, I'm here now. Get used to the Bobcat thing on the chest. That's a thing now. That was probably my favorite scrap. But Danny brought up an interesting point about you. He called you Murder Mike, and that you go into every shift wanting to kill something, essentially, whether it's the guy in the corner with his back turned until he turns around, you're ready to run into him, you're ready to put the puck at the back of the net. Like you talk about guys with senses of humor, and I think that's a big aspect of this family culture is it doesn't have to be just during the game that you guys are having fun. Bus rides can be grueling, but I don't think any team in this league has more fun on their bus than we do.
Oh my God, yeah. There's no way. There's no way any team has more fun than us. There's no way. I'd be shocked.
I would be absolutely stunned if someone had more fun on their bus than we did. And generally, it's me being the butt of most jokes and either picking the wrong movie or, hey, that's the wrong Chipotle. We said this Chipotle. But funny story, I was actually banned from picking the food stops because I ended up finding too many fast food joints. But I would like to think that my mistakes ended up proving better in the long run. But enough about that. To kind of wrap it up here, we've seen the schedule. You got a premier team in Columbus coming in opening night. You got a lot of matchups with Carolina, with PD, who's a much improved team from what they were as the Venom a year ago. What's your excitement level to be able to see some new foes in this barn, visit a couple of new arenas, and be able to come back here opening night in front of a packed house against one of the more established, successful franchises in this league and try and make a statement right out of the gate?
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's those will all be a blast for a few different reasons. Columbus, like that's obvious home opener. It's gonna be huge. I think just in general, it's I got a couple buddies on that team, so it's always fun to play them. But aside from that, you got like you mentioned PD, new team, new city in the league, new barn, all that stuff. So yeah, that looking forward to it all. Honestly, it's always exciting playing new teams and seeing some new faces in the league. So
quickly though, before we wrap it up, since this is the first one of these we've done since the new uniforms were revealed, how pumped are you to put any of those 4 gorgeous sweaters on in about 10 weeks time?
oh my God, yeah, no, they're incredible. I thought last year ours were incredible too, and Zemi was even telling me like before I left town, he's like, yeah, just wait, they're gonna be even better, and I was like, I don't know about that, like and he was right. He was right. I think they all came out great, so pretty excited.
They did, and the fans are not only pumped for the jerseys, but they are absolutely stoked to see you and a host of others back here. We're a little over 10 weeks away, so it's going to be here before we know it. Mike, I'll let you get back to rooting for your Yanks, and we'll see you when they're more than likely playing in the World Series in the middle of October.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. That'd be great.
All right, Mike. Hey, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Brett.